On today's show, the Sacramento Kings have won 40 games for the first time since 2006. What does 40 games mean to Sacramento Kings fans for this team? And how has Mike Brown changed the culture in Sacramento in not even under one full season? All of that and more coming up right here at Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Next game, how about Nikola Jokic to have more than 26.5 points? What about Giannis Antetokounmpo to have less than 9.5 rebounds? Or maybe De'Aaron Fox to have more than 6.5 assists? How about Steph Curry to have more than 3.5 three-pointers made? So what is Prize Picks? It's daily fantasy sports, but how does it work? Basically, you pick 2 to 6 players. If they score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times back on your money on any entry that you submit. There's no competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections that are made available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch. That's NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL. They've got you covered on all of your action. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. They're safe. They offer incredibly fast withdrawals, currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Joining us now is the host of Locked On Kings, Matt George. You can find wherever you listen to your podcasts and on YouTube. Just search Locked On Kings. Matt, the Sacramento Kings, first time winning 40 games since the 2005-2006 NBA season. They are currently sitting at number 2 in the Western Conference, 8-1 in their last 9 games. Let's just start with right there, Matt. I mean, what does seeing this team hit 40 wins mean for Kings fans, mean to you, mean to the city, all of the above?
Well, for many of us, this is uncharted territory. You have to understand there are people in Sacramento that are legally driving that have never seen the Sacramento Kings win 40 games before, which is pretty crazy. I know for me, last time the Kings won this many games, I was 12 years old. I've been covering the Sacramento Kings for the last 8-9 years professionally. Of course, grew up a diehard fan of the team. I've been hosting Locked On Kings podcasts for the last 6 years. This is uncharted territory for me, covering a team that's this good at this point in the season. Normally, we're diving deep into draft coverage, looking forward to March Madness and counting down the days till baseball season at this point in time. So it's been just an incredible dream run, but now it's crazy how expectations start to shift. Because if I had told myself that the Kings would be in the 2 seed and have a chance at home court advantage in the opening round of the playoffs, regardless of the result, I would have been thrilled. But now at this point, okay, if the Kings do secure home court advantage, which I expect them to, I believe this is a top 4 seed. Now it goes from, okay, we're just happy to make the playoffs to, hey, maybe the Sacramento Kings should be expected to make it out of the first round, of course, depending upon their opponent. Now, there's a world where the Sacramento Kings do get home court advantage and they get the defending champion Golden State Warriors, who are only an hour and a half down the road. So maybe that advantage disappears a little bit. That's just one scenario here. But regardless, for the Sacramento Kings to be in a position where they're clearly going to make the playoffs is just incredible. The fan base, is just trying to enjoy every moment. The Sacramento fan base has always been extremely loyal to a T. But there is the greater Sacramento community that is also starting to re-tap in and who has checked out over the last 16 years, and it's hard to blame them for checking out. They're starting to get back in. The Golden One Center is popping off every single night. Overflow crowds of over 18,000 people, and that building can only sit like 17,600. So it's been an incredible atmosphere. It's been fun, and really, the thing that I try to emphasize the most on Locked On Kings more than anything else, as much as we might have expectations and want the Kings to make the most out of this opportunity, it's just enjoy the ride, right? You mentioned the Kings being 8-1 since the All-Star break. Just enjoy the ride. They've won against really, really good teams, including in Phoenix the other night. And I know they were without Kevin Durant, but the Kings have already lost to the Suns without Kevin Durant twice this season. So it's a good win. They are winning games in many, many different ways. De'Aaron Fox is playing like a superstar. Domantas Sabonis is an absolute phenom here in Sacramento as well. So just, if anything else, enjoy the ride. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Enjoy the ride, an important motto. Also, light the beam, another very, very important motto for all Sacramento Kings fans. Now, Matt, you shared a clip the other day that did go viral, and it was some post-game footage that you titled 77 Seconds of Accountability from Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Brown that we want to run back here, and then I want your thoughts on exactly what Mike Brown had to say about this Kings team despite a win against the New York Knicks.
I mean, you could tell I'm a little frustrated. It's a great win. You take wins at this time of the year, but that's not how we should be playing basketball, what you guys saw tonight. I am not happy with our performance at all, except for the fact that we got the win. Somehow, some way, we have to be better throughout the course of the ball game. I'm going to put pressure on Domas and Foxy. They have to hold themselves to an elite level on every possession, but just as importantly, they got to open their mouths and hold their teammates to a high standard, because that ain't going to fly. Give the Knicks a lot of credit. Good ball club. Tibbs done a heck of a job with them. They're physical. They try to play the game the right way. You feel them throughout the course of the game. We're taking this win, but we got to be better. And it starts with Domas and Foxy. They got to open their mouths, and they got to challenge their teammates to perform each possession at an elite level. But they have to do it themselves on both ends of the floor.
Okay, Matt, so really some kind of impassioned words from head coach Mike Brown. I mean, what was, the catalyst for Mike Brown's being so frustrated despite this win, and how have Sabonis and Fox kind of responded to Mike Brown in the aftermath of this?
Well, Brown has established really, really quickly here in Sacramento that he can publicly or privately call these guys out, and they're going to respond to him in a positive way. And I mean, that takes a incredible reputation, but it also takes a ton of trust that he and his coaching staff have established with this locker room and vice versa. I give De'Aaron Fox a lot of credit. I give everybody on the team a lot of credit, but De'Aaron Fox especially, because Fox is this superstar now here and who's been here in Sacramento, who has had far too many coaches than anybody should have through the first 6 or so years of your career. And this guy comes in and starts holding you accountable. And it's De'Aaron's response to this has been, no, this is what I want. I've wanted to be coached. I haven't had this yet, and this is what I need. And he's responded to it, and this entire team has responded to it. But, I mean, Mike is coaching this team to win a championship. Now, that sounds absurd to anybody who's followed the Sacramento Kings or thinks Sacramento Kings and championship, and usually the only time you're using that in a sentence is if the word not going to win is in between those two, right? But Mike Brown is coaching this team like they're going to be a champion. And why shouldn't they feel that way with being the second seed in the Western Conference? Now, hey, Kings Homer, biggest Kings honk on the planet here, over here happily saying, I don't expect the Sacramento Kings team to win a championship. I don't. But that doesn't mean I don't want the team to feel that way. And they should feel like they belong, especially with how they performed all season long. And look, Mike Brown is not only coming from his amazing experience in Cleveland with LeBron and working under Greg Popovich, who you hear a lot of Greg Popovich in that Mike Brown clip. I mean, coming from the Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr, where he spent the last 8 or so years of his career coaching champions. He knows what it takes to win, and he's coming here to win right away, regardless of the fact that Sacramento Kings have been synonymous with losing for so long. So that's how he coaches his guys. That's how he holds them accountable. Now, this particular game, the Kings won on national television over the New York Knicks. The Kings were absolutely abused on the glass. Abused in this game. I think the Knicks had upwards of like 20-something offensive rebounds, and the Kings got lucky to win this game with how easily the Knicks were having it on the offensive glass. I think Josh Hart had 8 offensive rebounds alone, 14 rebounds in the game. So he was not happy and not okay with his performance, because these are hustle plays and these are things that he knows his team can control. Mike always focuses on things that the Kings can control. You can't control the officials and the refs against you. You can't always control the shot going in as much as you want it to, but you can control boxing out and making the hustle and effort plays that it takes to win basketball games consistently. And the Kings weren't doing that. Now, they still found a way to win, credit to them, but he knows, and we're learning here in Sacramento, that kind of effort, even in a win at home on national television against a good New York Knicks team, that's not going to fly in the playoffs, because you give up 20-plus offensive rebounds in the playoffs, you're probably losing by 20.
Got to control the controllables, and you've also got to, even if a championship isn't necessarily a likely outcome for the season, you want to build those championship tendencies, right? And that's what Mike Brown is establishing in Sacramento. Matt, before we get you out of here, I'm going to give you a fill in the blank to close out this segment. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Mike Brown should be Coach of the Year because
he has done what, I don't know the exact number. I want to say the number is 11. He has done what 11 other head coaches couldn't do. He has done what nobody has been able to do since Rick Adelman back in 2006, which is completely turn this team and in reality turn this franchise around. There are not a lot of coaches in this league that could do what Mike Brown has done here in Sacramento. Now, he will immediately divert the credit to his players, to his coaching staff, to the Kings front office, and everybody deserves a little piece of the credit. But Mike Brown came in here, and from day one, he started talking about the culture of this organization and that this organization has a soul and everybody needs to buy in. Well, everybody has followed that leadership and has bought in. He literally has a contract that is signed by the entire team. A copy of it is in the locker room and a copy of it is in the practice facility saying, I am going to give my all 100% regardless of my role, regardless of the situation. I'm going to give my all to what we're trying to do here. Everybody signed it. Everybody's following it. He's established that culture, and he's brought a team that has not even been able to make the play-in to the second seed in the Western Conference. There aren't too many other coaches in the league that could have done that.
How else has Mike Brown changed the culture in Sacramento? Is he the favorite for the NBA's Coach of the Year award? How many more times will Sacramento light the beam between now and the end of the season? You'll have us covered for all of that and more over at Locked On Kings. Matt, I appreciate you stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
Always a pleasure, my friend. We'll see the Rockets in the Western Conference Finals next year.